Man, I heard something. I don't know if it's true. These guys here in the health professionals said they're the best group here. News to me, but hey, that's what they told me. I'm just
They got on black.
Can I ask you guys a couple questions, please? First question is, we hear the word success a lot. So what would you all define success in life as being? What do you think it means to be successful in life? You have your hand up? Yes, ma'am.
Achieving goals.
Achieving goals, that's good. Anybody else? So, yes, sir. Being disciplined. Yeah. And I saw another hand over here. Yes.
Proceeding forward to what you are.
Yeah. Proceeding forward to what you want to accomplish, right? Yeah, you give your hand up. Getting where you want to get to. Those are all really good. The problem is all too often when we talk about success, all people just think, oh, money and that's it. I would define being successful in life as being content, finding your purpose in life, what fulfills you, and that means different things for different people. But I think your answers are really good. Can I ask another question? Is what if you were to just boil it down to one thing, one characteristic or one attribute that makes people successful as compared to other people? What one thing do you think separates folks who achieve their goals from folks who don't? Yes, ma'am. Leadership's good. Yes. Responsibility's good. Dedication. Very good. Hard work. Get your hand up, sir.
Driving determination.
Driving determination. Happiness. All those, I'm sorry, this cord is, I walk around on this cord's about to strip me, which would be great. Principal Seth could say he beat me in a wrestling match. I would say that the one thing that separates people who achieve their goals, people who are successful, from the people that don't, and all those things are important, and they're all part of it. But I would say that the one thing is that people who achieve their goals simply do not give up until they have achieved their goal. Persistence, determination, stubbornness in some cases, the ability to overcome obstacles and to keep going no matter what life does. Because the thing is, life is always going to do something. There are so many things that are completely out of your control. There's a guy named Les Brown who's a motivational speaker. I really like him. One of my favorite quotes from him says that don't ever think you're not going to have problems in life. Everybody has problems in life. In fact, if you're not in a problem, you're most likely coming out of a problem or you're going into a problem. And in many ways, that's what life is really all about, is your ability to deal with adversity and your ability to keep going no matter what life might throw at you. I think sometimes when people look at me and say, gosh, he's a big-time wrestler dude, and now he's the mayor, and they see me at the end of the end of a journey. And they don't know where I started, they don't know how I got there, they don't know the challenges that I had to overcome. So, if y'all don't mind, can I tell you about my life from when I was a little kid? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. He's sitting here with his bated breath. He's ready. So, when I was very small, I grew up on a farm in northeast Missouri. We lived about 5 miles from a town of 300 people. I mean, I was out in the middle of nowhere, about 2 hours north of St. Louis. My dad was retired military. He retired when I was about 4 years old. I was actually born in Madrid, Spain. I was born on an Air Force base. But it is U.S. soil, so I could run for president, but I'm not going to. But in any case, during this time is the early 1970s, and things are pretty tough in the country overall, especially where we live. I have no idea why my parents decided to move up there. They're actually from the St. Louis area, and they thought it'd be a good idea to buy a farm. I never much liked it, but that's what they decided. But Dad had a hard time, and he had his retirement from the military, so we always had a house and we always had food. But a lot of times, in other ways, it felt like we were just living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, you know, there was an extra often. And I didn't want that in my own life. I'm very much one of these people, like, I know that life does throw these curveballs and stuff, but I'm one of these people, I want stability, I want predictability, okay? You know, I want to know that I can say I'm good, right? So, you know, that's not the life that I wanted. My mom and dad worked really hard, but Dad worked at factories, he found whatever job he could get. It was just, you know, it was hard on him, it was hard on the family. So when I was like, you know, looking at that, what do I want for my life? Well, I figured my pathway to success would be through athletics, because that's what I love to do, is sports. Growing up a couple hours outside St. Louis, as I mentioned, I was a big St. Louis Cardinals fan, okay? I remember they won the World Series when I was a kid, and you know, here they are on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and you know, they were making a lot of money and famous and all this stuff. So that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be St. Louis Cardinal. And I remember that I would go out in the yard, and I'm like 5 or 6 years old, and I pretend it's the World Series, and it's the 7th game, and the bases are loaded, and we're down by 3 runs, but if I could hit a home run, hit a grand slam, we'd win the World Series, and I had a rock and a stick, and there's a barbed wire fence, and the cows are on the other side of the barbed wire fence. So I'd throw the rock up, and I'd try to hit it with the stick to win the World Series. I never hit the rock. I was a terrible, terrible, terrible baseball player. Awful. My body had not caught up yet. I was awkward, I was tall, I was gangly, literally couldn't chew gum and walk at the same time. Also had, for hitting, I had a very big strike zone. So I was a terrible baseball player. And I realized that I was never going to be a good baseball player, most likely. So I was like, what, you know, even at that young age, it's like, what can I do with my body? Because I was tall, naturally I gravitated to basketball. And as I became more coordinated, as I became more athletic, I became a pretty good basketball player. I wanted to go to a Division I school. I wanted to go like the University of Tennessee. In my case, it was University of Missouri, which is the big state school where I was. Unfortunately, I suffered an ankle injury about halfway through my senior year in high school, and all my Division I scholarships dried up. So that was a bit of a blow, but I was able to go to a Division II school. And I said I was a pretty decent basketball player, but I knew that I was never going to play in the NBA. I wasn't that good. And frankly, I should have worked harder at it. But, you know, I was still a kid and just had these dreams. When I was in high school, though, I never lifted weights, because back then you were taught that if you lifted weights, you'd become muscle-bound, you'd become less flexible. In a skill sport such as basketball, you'd lose your shooting touch. It's not true, but that's what we were told. When I got to college, my coaches very much encouraged me to lift weights. So I started to do. I started to lift weights and started eating. Like to lift weights. Like to eat. What happens when you have that combination? You get really big. And that's what I did. I put on about 60 pounds when I was between when I started in college, when I graduated high school, and by my senior year of college. So I was weighing about 290 pounds playing basketball. And the football coach comes to me and he's like, what are you doing? You run up and down a basketball court at 290 pounds, which for those of you who don't know, that's extremely large. That's a lot of weight to be carrying on a basketball frame. So you need to play football. And it's like, well, I probably might have the opportunity to go for a season to play basketball, not at a great level professionally, or I could give this football thing a shot. I didn't play football next time. I had a little bit of eligibility left, like a semester, if I were to switch sports. So I did it. Didn't really have anything to lose. Well, as it turns out, because of my size, because of my natural ability, because I spent all those years playing basketball, I had really good footwork. I was really good at football. And just naturally, I was very gifted at it. God just gave me the talent and the skill that it took to be a very good football player. So I'm playing at a Division I school. No one ever came from the NFL. No scouts were ever at our practices until I started playing. And then I remember being out on the practice field. You know, I'm looking over the sidelines, and you got scouts from the Bengals and from the Cowboys, from the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm getting letters, and all this stuff is happening now. And these teams are looking at me and they're saying, you know, yeah, you're raw, but we're looking at athletic talent, and we're looking at size, and you got it. So it really looked like I was going to play in the NFL. And then got all the way through practice, right? The hard part's over. The first practice of game week, we're putting in trick plays. Practice is over. We weren't going to run or anything. It was a hot day. It was like 95 degrees, humidity, whole thing. Shoulder pads are off, helmets are off. We're just walking through trick plays. And I stepped in a hole and destroyed my left knee. So I got through the hard part. And when we got to the fun part, it ended up being a lot more work because I didn't have a medical red shirt left, which meant that I had to play that year if I was going to play at all. So I came back in 6 weeks from a torn ACL, which is a very severe injury, and that time frame was very compressed to be able to do that. It was hard. Physically, it hurt. It was painful. Emotionally, it was very hard. But I got back. I played the rest of the season. Not really well, because I still had a bad knee. But I still had some interest, and I thought I might get drafted. I was not, unfortunately. But I was contacted by the Chicago Bears and asked if I would like to attend their rookie training camp as an undrafted free agent, which I did. So the first day of an NFL camp, you go in and they do all this stuff, all these physicals. I mean, they check your vision, they check your hearing, they check your teeth. And then, of course, they have orthopedic surgeons that bend every joint and make sure that all of your ankles and knees and fingers and everything is working perfectly. No one said anything about my knees, so I thought I was good. So, have some meetings that afternoon, and the offensive line coach is telling us what's going to happen. The next day I'm going to go out and I'm getting on a practice field with the Chicago Bears. I was ecstatic. I almost couldn't sleep that night. Wake up the next day, get on the bus to go over to the training facility. As I'm getting off the bus, there's someone waiting for me, and everybody else is taking that way, and I was taking this way. And I was taken up to the director of player personnel office, and I was told that my knee injury precluded me from playing for the Chicago Bears, and I was given a plane ticket home. I was there for 1 day. After doing all the stuff that I had been through, I was there for 1 day, and I didn't even step on the dadgum practice field before I got sent home. For me, it was devastating. I was in my early 20s. All I'd ever wanted to do my entire life was play sports. And that was it. And I was a good student, but sports was it for me. That's all I wanted to do. And I had my fingertips on that. You know, we talk about success, achieving your goals. I was touching it. And they got pulled away from me, and there wasn't anything that I could do about it. I had worked so hard. I was devastated. And I know people, have been through a lot worse than that in their lives, but for me, it was a pretty tough blow. There's a saying, and I do not like this saying actually, because it's not nearly as graphic as what really happens. But there's a saying that in life, when one door closes, another door opens. Well, any of you that have ever had a major disappointment realize that the door does not just gently shut. The door slams in your face when you're about halfway through it and knocks you down and breaks your nose, and you're on the floor, a bloody mess, broken, trying to figure out what happened. And then eventually you have to crawl back up to your feet, And you look around, gosh, there's other doors that have actually been there all along, you just never saw them before. But again, it's not like, hey, the door just pops open. You have to work really hard to make it open. So I realized that, at a young age, you don't realize when you have disappointments, you don't realize that there are other things available. You often think that is literally the end, and it's not. And I realized I probably had 60 more years on this earth that I had to live, so I needed to figure something out. I took an inventory of myself, still a good athlete, still a big guy. My degree's in English, so I know a little bit about drama and theater. Didn't want to get a real job. Probably the most important thing. So professional wrestling was perfect for me. I got into it in the first couple years. I actually just drove around the Midwest on weekends and had a job and lost money doing wrestling because I'd have to drive 300 miles to a show. Many fewer people than are in this room today at the show. Hardly ever getting paid when I did. Funny story, one time I got a pay envelope and I was really excited, so I thought I'd be able to at least cover my gas money. It was coupons to McDonald's for what I got. But I stuck with it because I thought I could be good at it. And I took a step up. Eventually I went to places like Puerto Rico and Germany and Japan. Then I finally got to WWE. But the first couple years there weren't exactly what I wanted either. And then finally this character Kane was created for me. And then from there, man, it's been awesome. It's been awesome. I've performed with people like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Well, but Dwayne's like a big movie star now, right? John Cena. It's my show though, dude. People like John Cena, Undertaker, but also folks like Drew Carey from The Price is Right. I've even done a skit with the Muppets. I've been in a Scooby-Doo movie. Scooby-Doo Goes to WrestleMania. Check it out. Yeah. You're all younger brothers and sisters have probably seen it. In fact, it's funny because I have parents sometimes tell me that that's how their kids know me is from a Scooby-Doo movie. But anyways, I've performed in front of millions of people live and on TV. I've been in all 50 states. I've been all around the world. Been able to see stuff that I never thought that I would, been able to do things I never thought I would. None of it would have happened if I had just folded my tent and packed it in at any point along the way. Because I am a professional athlete. In a different way than I thought when I was trying to hit that rock with that stick. I always thought I'd be a baseball player, then a basketball player, and then a football player. But still, so what I do is I make money through an athletic endeavor. I was able to achieve my goal just in a different way than I had anticipated. But if I'd given up at any point, I never would have gotten there. And that's why I say that the most important thing is to just never give up. Because you never ever know what tomorrow's going to bring. You never know what opportunities are available to you. And if you give up, you will never know. The one thing that separates people who achieve their goals from people who don't is not talent. Talent's important. It's not hard work. Hard work is very important. It's part of it. It's not even multiple opportunities. It's just that they don't give up. I don't want you guys to give up either. I want you guys to keep on going no matter what life ever does to you. Because you can't control that. But what you can control is your desire, your persistence, your willingness to keep going and to overcome obstacles. For this year, the most important thing for you all is to ensure that you do well in the classroom or on the athletic field or in your clubs or whatever you're doing. Just do it to the best of your ability and make sure you graduate. Because if you don't graduate, you're going to have a really hard time catching up for the rest of your life. So here's the deal. Graduation night, I will be there. I will shake each of your hands and congratulate you for a job well done. And you all promise me that you're going to be there, because I will. I need, okay. Can I have, that was good. Can I have some more enthusiasm, though? Yes, yes.
On the big dog.
All right. So I'll see y'all graduation night. I'll see y'all graduation night. Until then, just be the best you can be this year, okay? Everyone. Thank you all.